Hello and welcome to WTF, where we help you transform food in your kitchen. I'm Janie, and with me today in the kitchen is Jeff Bignell from Pacojet.
Yes.
Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Jeff is here because you might have noticed he's standing next to an amazing looking machine, the new Pacojet 4. So today we're going to talk about pacotizing, we're going to talk about what exactly is the Pacojet, and how does the Pacojet 4 differ from the Pacojet 2? And of course, we're going to have demos to show you all the capabilities of this amazing machine. And of course, stick around for our weekly giveaway coming at some point. Now, if you like today's video, remember to subscribe and also hit like. You have to please the algorithm, or else the algorithm will not show your videos to anyone. All right. Jeff, where I would like to start today is really for people who may have never come across a Pacojet in their life, and they're like, what are we looking at right now? Can you talk a little bit about the background of the Pacojet and what its capabilities are?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So today we are definitely introducing the Pacojet 4 to the North American market, which we're super excited about, but from a baseline of Pacojet, we've been in the market for about 30 years, so the technology is relatively, I would say, newish, but essentially what pacotizing allows you to do is transition any food product directly from a frozen state into a micro puree. So thinking about it in the sense of frozen desserts, it's a game changer because the process is so simple, and with the Pacojet, it takes out all of the guesswork and the front end and back end energy that we expend in the kitchen to produce these kind of items.
Yeah, and if you're coming to Modernist Pantry, you may have seen our videos of the Pacojet versus the Creami, and you might be like, but the Creami is so much cheaper. However, the Creami cannot do what a Pacojet does. Can you talk a little bit, Jeff, about, aside from ice cream, what can you pacotize?
Anything, which is a great question. Essentially, any food product can be put into a beaker, and then from there, the Pacojet does all the work. And the magic is within that pacotizing process from that frozen mass. And the beauty of this system is when you're able to transform a essentially raw material into a pacotized material, you're able to get an ultra creamy, ultra fine, smooth texture that you could roll into obviously frozen desserts, but thinking about soups, concentrates, butters, farces, pâtés, anything across the culinary circuit and format that you would want to essentially get to this kind of texture. And I mean, even healthcare is taking advantage of these kind of processes. So we're really excited about what this new Pacojet 4 can offer, and how it even simplifies this process even more than what we have here.
Yeah, and I want to take a quick moment to kind of close in here on this canister in this beaker that's inside Jeff's hand. So on the top you see kind of super creamy, super smooth, and then on the bottom what you're really seeing is completely frozen. Are those cashews?
These are cashews.
Yeah, completely frozen cashews. So you're taking in one machine completely solid cashews and turning that into a cream, and that is magical. And one of the questions that we often get before we move on to the 4 is people saying, well, how is the Pacojet different from like a Vitamix? How is it just different from a blender? I can get a pretty good blend, a pretty good fine puree on my blender. Can you talk a little bit about that for people who have written in about with that very specific question?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference is the whole process, the whole mentality and the thought of getting this kind of exquisite texture, but without having to go through all those let's say pre-steps of traditional blending, straining, pre-pureeing. So we can now achieve this without any of that legwork, but within the unit, it has some other features that aid with emulsification, give you extra volume, and allows for like an end product to be very sturdy and hearty, but it opens up on all of the nutritional density as well as what the product offers within its natural state. So we're able to tap into that. Traditional blending, you're adding a bunch of ingredients all at once and, pressing the button and waiting, where with this product, we place it all into beaker canisters, we hold it in the freezer. When we're ready to use it, it's always there. So no waste, no oxidation, no degradation of the product itself.
Yeah, and that's a great point because we also want to emphasize that this is a commercial product. So this is not the Creami, which is for, you're making ice cream once a week at home. Fantastic. But if you're in a commercial kitchen and you're running this machine all night long, pretty much,
absolutely.
right? That's right. So a lot of our customers, they'll have like 4, 10 more beakers just in their freezer. So it's all prepped, it's ready to go. And then when they need it, they just pull it out and they use it. And it's such a time savings, and that's so huge. And if you're at home, you're like, do I need it? Again, like depends on how often do you cook? How often do you entertain? How often do you really want things to be available when you want it? So those are all the kind of things that come up when you're thinking about, oh, should I be considering a Pacojet for my kitchen? All right, now we want to jump right into the new Pacojet 4. And the first thing that I'm seeing here is just how beautiful this machine looks. I'm not saying this one is not good looking, but this is a beautiful machine. It is sleek, it has a large screen. Jeff, let's talk first about the outside. What's different and new about the exterior and the physical machine itself?
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously the look is sleek. The look, you know, we wanted to re-engineer this machine to offer, you know, definitely a steady presence within the kitchen, but taking into account a couple things. So difference than the Pacojet 2 Plus, we wanted to give it a format that's easy to clean. Not that this one's not, but this one's even easier, so we wanted to kind of take a leg on that. We wanted it to obviously have a little bit more substantial stance within and presence within the kitchen. So you'll see that you know, the footprint has grown a bit. Obviously there's some horsepower, we'll call it, behind the reasoning behind that, but then also one of the big asks from our chefs and operators in the field and market was, can we make it a little quieter? And so that's what you see here with this new model.
Yeah, we're not going to run in here today, but we're going to take a second. There's going to be a picture-in-picture right here, and we're going to show you the 2, and then show you the 4. And you can really hear there's a huge difference.
And in addition, obviously, you mentioned the larger touchscreen. The whole reasoning behind this is how do we make a simple process with a simple machine even simpler. So we wanted it to be able to, for any operator, any you know, home chef, professional chef, be able to walk up to this unit, obviously understand what pacotizing gives them in their day-to-day, but in terms of use, walk right over and be able to perform that task. So we created an intelligent software that is a user guidance. It allows for, like I said, any operator to walk up to the machine, select what the process is they're trying to achieve, and it will walk you through that process so you do it efficiently and effectively.
Yeah, can we do that actually right now? Let's walk through, you know, I'm a new user, I've got this beaker right here. What do I do with it?
Oh, absolutely. So once you have your prepped goods, so you have your ingredients in your beaker and they're frozen. At that point, then you walk over to the machine. It does have a standby feature, which we woke up just a few seconds ago. And then from there, you have a catalog of selections where you can immediately pacotize. You could use fresh foods for cutting, whipping, and then we also have a dedicated cleaning cycle that we'll go into later. So with this process, I mean, it's as simple as taking that item out of the freezer, placing it into your beaker holder. We have a special pacotizing blade that fits within the splash guard. The beauty of this system is it also creates a pressurized environment within the beaker canister while this process is happening. Aids with emulsification, it grows volume, it can give you a moussier content. And you can dial this up or down as you need to within the process. But goes into the splash guard, it locks into place. It's got a magnet that grabs it and it's an interlocking system. From there, the beaker just goes on. I'm going to do this from the back.
He's a pro. It took me so long to do that when I tried it.
It clicks into place.
It makes it look so easy.
You select pacotizing. From here, you have a couple selections. So Pacojet's going to ask you, what do you need in terms of volume? This is 10 portions of product, which is a liter of end product. So from here, we can select how much we need. So let's say we needed 2 portions for this particular dish or application. We have a repeat function, so this allows for that pacotizing blade to actually move through the product multiple times, which gives you creamier, moussier, more homogeneous end result. And then we can select how many times, up to 10 times. So let's do 4 just for this. We have the pressurization, which is that fun little cloud that's icon there. And you can turn that on or turn it off. We've seen many recipes that lend itself to a pressurized environment, but not with the actual overrun, because we want more of a dense, so like a pate, a gelato, something of that nature that we want to be super creamy and smooth, but not inflated.
Yep.
So you can select that, and then we've introduced jet mode with this new product.
And I want to hold jet mode for a second because we do want to spend a lot of time on it. So let's first just run this beaker, see the machine in action, and then we're going to get to jet mode in just a sec.
Sure. From here, we've essentially aligned what we want for our pacotizing process. So we can do two things at this point. We can just hit start and go, or we can actually hit our save function and name this and create a cycle.
Okay.
So that's something brand new as well. But we'll go ahead and run it. So you'll hear it kind of fire up.
Yes. And one of the things that's really neat, and you don't see it on here because right now we're running an empty beaker, but one thing that I noticed right away is number one, I can see where it is in the process. So that's really cool.
Sure.
And then also number two, when the beaker is full, it actually shows you what you've already done, how much is left, how many times you've done through. So you know exactly what's happening here, and that's not something that we had with the two.
Not quite as dialed in. Yeah, absolutely. So this is definitely brand new software. So it does track not only as it goes through, but also the revolution. So we asked this cycle to run 4 different times. So it's going to track that process. It's got an LED that'll start to illuminate. If it would have had product, it would have measured and then gone through it as well.
Yeah. And the other thing that's really cool that I really loved about this machine is Jeff sent this to me a little bit early, and I was trying, we were trying to get it to work just to like power it on and have some fun with it. And as someone who has not used this machine before, I mess it up a bunch of times, and that's okay. And what I love is that the machine told me when there's errors and what the errors were. And that's really cool because I like not having a black box where I'm like, what's wrong? I don't know, and just trying to figure it out. So in this one, everything was really clear. So I was able to troubleshoot it, get it going, realize that, it's me being dumb and not doing the right thing, and the machine was great. So I really love that feature, and that's totally new. While this is running, actually, I think one of the beauties of this new machine, can you talk a little bit about its Wi-Fi capabilities and how it's supported?
Yeah, absolutely. So this unit with the software integration does have Wi-Fi connectivity ability, and that's for more of a service component. So kind of talking about, hey, I've used my unit, I've got these error codes that may have come up, maybe it's user error, maybe it is something that we need to look at from a technical service standpoint. But once you set these units up to the Wi-Fi connected within your operation or home, for that matter, we can, as a service agent, be able to go in, diagnose the essentially what the errors may be, and essentially troubleshoot over the phone, or know, hey, maybe we do need to get it into service. So that's an added feature that really does speed up. I'm not sure what's happening, so
yeah, 100%. I think that is so huge when you have a kitchen. If you can get it up and running the same day, that's so much better than, oh, let me send it in for a week just for it to be a minor fix that you could have done, and then you wait another week for it to come back. That's another huge time savings. Great new feature.
Yeah. So we can stop this one. So anytime that it's in process, you can obviously stop it. Hey, I forgot I need to change recipes, but it did release its air pressure automatically. One of the notes will tell you how much is left in the beaker. Obviously, it's probably a little confused with what we were trying to achieve. So it's saying, there's no portions. What happened? What did you do? So that's alerting us that it's gone through its process and it did not pacotize anything. So maybe we need to see what's in there and try to address it. But that's it. And then from there, it all comes off. And you could pull back, and if this was it, you could get your product.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to run to the kitchen and grab our gelato so that we can try out jet mode. So one of the most exciting new features on the Pacojet 4 is jet mode. Jeff, what's jet mode?
Jet mode is essentially rapid pacotizing. So it was already fast with 4 minutes a beaker, but we said, hey, how can we make this better in the process? So we want to make it faster. So we took into account what products would, essentially be able to take most value in the jet mode function, so a fast, rapid pacotizing, and obviously frozen desserts. That's you know what pacotizing was birthed on, and so we said, how can we make that product come out even quicker? So the idea was take this into account, insert it into what we have available to us from a performance standpoint, and make it super quick. So we can do entire beakers in 90 seconds.
Yeah, which is amazing. So when you say frozen desserts, are there any, of course, the first thing we're like, what else can you put in there? And we try to do the jet mode on, I think we did frozen peas, and it did not like that. It was like, this is too solid, stop doing it, which is great. So then we're like, okay, we tried it, it did not work, so don't try it, we already did it for you. So let's see what we have here. This is a beaker of our dairy-free pistachio gelato recipe. You can find it in the links in the description below. It's a combination of mostly Fabry deli paste, pistachio flavor, a little bit of water, sugar, salt, polysorbate 80, and perfect gelato. And this makes a really creamy, really delicious gelato. And once you pacotize it, honestly, you can never tell there's no dairy in it at all. So let's run it in jet mode.
Sure, yeah. So again, the process is the same with all pacotizing. You prep your beaker. Once it's frozen, it goes into the protective outer beaker holder. The blade installs into the splash guard. Splash guard then locks in. And then once that's affixed, we bring the beaker and we wait till it clicks. We select pacotizing, and jet mode is signified by this icon on the right. For this is gelato, so we do have overrun, which I think we can dial down. And from here, let's do 3 portions. So we're talking 90 seconds for the entire beaker, which equates to, if a beaker has 10 portions, that's 9 seconds a portion, essentially. So if we do 3 portions, we should be able to achieve that. And 9 times 3, what's
that? 27. I'm glad I got that right. I had to double check it in my hair real quick.
Math quiz.
I'd be like, Cole, take 2, so I can do my basic multiplication.
So you'll see the machine's running, it's descending quickly, it's tracking what it's doing. So we've already gone through that process one time, and it's actually a repeat.
Yeah.
So we're going through it twice, pacotizing through that mass within that certain amount of time.
So that is super, super fast. Wow, that's amazing. That's incredible. I think that's absolutely spectacular.
And from here, it'll alert you with how many portions are left, that it's gone through its cycle, and that it's ready to be yielded at this point.
All right, let's get a spoon, a clean spoon. Cool.
So we peel it back, and we have our beautifully fresh pacotized gelato. Oh, wow.
Yeah, look at that. It is so smooth and glossy and beautiful. I'm just gonna, I don't want to
dig in?
I'm gonna just come straight into the canister. Look at this, it's so good.
Perfect.
It's such rich pistachio flavor. I mean, that comes from the Fabry, but this is creamy. I know, like, you can never, ever, ever tell. Jeff, I'm going to give you another spoon so you can try it.
Oh, thank you.
Because you've never had this, so here you go. I should have done that to begin with, so I apologize that I didn't.
Cheers.
Yeah, this is really nice.
Very, very good. And then you can see what we didn't pacotize still remains within the beaker.
Yep, so there's absolutely no waste. You can just use as much of it as you can. So we're going to take another break. We're going to reset, and when we come back, we want to talk a little bit about the coupe set and about the cutting feature.